Welcome to the replay. Come on in if you're watching this live. If you're watching this live, sounded like somebody's coming in the room. If you're watching this live, go ahead and put live down in the thing. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're fine.
I tell them Friday night, 8 o'clock, I'm on a live. If you come out here, I'm putting you on the thing. That's why he didn't want to come back out of here. Yeah. Okay. Kind of share this. Hold on. Welcome. Tonight we're going to do a palette board and we're going to do our little skeleton. As you're coming in, say hi. Let me know you're here. Tag friends. Tag friends. There I am. Sorry. Trying to get this pulled up. Oops. I'm trying to get this pulled up so I can see comments. Here I am. I'm normally better prepared. Sorry about this, guys. Let's see. Oops. Five. Okay. Okay, there we go. Technology. Okay. Welcome to my edition of Chalk Live on Friday nights at 8 o'clock Pacific time. I'm on our Chalk Live channel. Thank you for joining. Chalk Live is a group where talented independent designers come on and they show you how to, oops, I'm going to turn my sound down. They come on and they show you different techniques and they show you this wonderful product. And we're on here for your enjoyment. Okay. So tonight we're going to do this Home is My Happy Place. Okay. And we're going to be doing it on a 9x12 palette board. And even though this is a chocolate covered board, I always wax wood, metal, slate. Always. It doesn't matter where it comes from. I would rather have that barrier between the wood and my transfer for protection of the wood and the transfer. Just mix them up there and just wipe it on just to give it that little bit of barrier. And I am using Minwax finishing paste in natural. You can use any kind of finishing wax. I'm going to fuzz a couple times here. These are transfers. These are not stencils. These are from Chalk Couture. My name's Vicki and I am an independent designer for Chalk Couture. We use these wonderful silk screen transfers with our chalk paste and chalk ink, or Chalkology ink. Tonight I will be using strictly paste. I'm going to write, when you first do them, you want to write on the back of your transfers, on the backing, because that way when you get it, when you're done and you're cleaned up and you want to put it back on, you make sure you put it on the right side that it's supposed to. If you put it on the dull side, it can stick, and then when you go to pull your transfer back up, it will pull the paper up with it. It could ruin your transfer, and if you're trying to get it off there, it could stretch the silk screen. So we're going to put home. Oops. Happy place. Okay. I always take my silk screens, I always pull them off either side to side or on the sides. Never corner to corner. That again will stretch and pull on the silk screen. So where you can see my hand through there, that's a little tiny silk screens. And what those do is when you put this down on your surface and then you put your ink or your paste over it, when you pull it up, it leaves the ink and paste where those open silk screens are. I say open because they're really not open. Okay, just gonna fuzz it a couple times. Fuzzing it, all that does is brand new transfers are really sticky. So putting a little bit of fuzz between the stickiness and the surface along with the wax will really help keep the transfer from sticking to your surface. And I'm just gonna try to eyeball this here. What I did was on this palette board, I don't know if you can see it, there's like where they put the nails, and I just kind of use that as my border to see if I'm trying to get it straight in there. Okay. I think I'm going to use the Aberdeen. It's just a beautiful purpley color. Kind of a fun color for this time of year. Our chalk paste. We want to stir it. We want it to be a cake-like consistency, cake batter-like consistency. And I'm just using, this is a stir stick you can get from Chalk Couture. They're like little spatulas, little paddles. I'm going to add some water. It's a little thick. It doesn't quite drizzle like I like it to. Distilled water only. Always use just distilled water. And it just keeps any kind of minerals and stuff from building up in there. Kind of, could cause contamination. A little more. So you want it to be like a cake-like consistency, but you don't want it to be too runny, but you don't want it to be too thick either. If it's a little too thick, then it dries really quick, and it'll dry sometimes faster, and then when you go to pull it up, it will pull the chalk up with it instead of leaving it on the surface. But if you get it too runny, it can leak through. So, and too runny it would just be, you could tell. This is getting to be where I need it to be. Yeah, you can see it just drizzles off of there, so we're good. If you do get too much water in it, and it's really runny, you can leave it open for a little while, and the air will cause it to dry up a little bit, and that'll make it thicker. So you can add water to make it thinner, and if it's too thin, you can just leave it open for a little bit, and it'll get thicker. And I'm just taking this is chalk. This is a squeegee, small squeegee. I'm just taking it and I'm taking the Chalkology paste and running it down through the silk screen. It doesn't take much. Don't worry about using too much, because when we're done, we're going to take off the excess and put it back in the jar because it's reusable. You don't want to waste any of it. The only time you don't want to put it back in your jar is if you've done an ombre and you put two different colors together, you really don't want to put those back in the jar, depending on the colors really. But because I have done ombre before and put it back in because it was like the color was almost to the color that I was putting it back in the jar. So you just don't want to put like a color like in the white, or a darker color in a lighter color. Okay, and then I just put that back in the jar. And I have a tub of water over here, and I'm just going to throw that in the water. My sleeves are kind of long. I'm probably going to end up getting it in stuff tonight. And we're going to peel and reveal. Ooh. I'm just going to stick this in the water. Home is my happy place. Now, you can see right up here, I did get a little paste off of the transfer. Not a problem. I'm going to take a wipe. I just get these wipes at the Dollar Tree. I like these wipes because there's not any soap or anything in it to cause. Just a wet wipe and gone. And that's the one thing too about waxing the board, is it helps protect that. So if I hadn't waxed it, this color being a dark color might have stained it, and it might have caused it when I rubbed it to leave a stain there, but since I waxed it, it came out pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here to dry. Stay. Okay. I'm going to put this paste away so it doesn't dry out. And when I put these away, I try to make sure that I get all of that off of the sides. If you take care of your paste and your transfers and everything, you will have these for a long time. Okay, we are going to do the skeleton. He comes in different parts. Okay, we're going to do him. We're going to do him on this board. You'll see that it has something on it already. I'm going to show you how easy it is to put some water on this and get rid of this, just so I can put another project on. That's the great thing about this product, is you can make a design, keep it for a while, and then, okay, well, I want to change it out and do something else. So wet it down, wipe it down, get rid of it, put the new design on it. This way you don't have a closet full or a spare bedroom full of different kinds of designs or decorations, sorry. You know, like Christmas and Halloween and all your holidays. You just have one set of boards and things like that, and just change them out. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my spray bottle here. Put a little water all over it, let it sit for a few minutes here, or not a few minutes, but a little bit. These are our board erasers. They're kind of like a Mr. Eraser, but they don't have that, they don't have a slick chemically feel on them. They're just, they're dry, like an eraser. But they are made to work on our boards, work on our transfers, and this keeps any kind of shadowing from coming out there. So you just take this through the water and you just kind of rub it through. And like magic, it's gone. Anybody have any questions? I'm not seeing any comments, so I don't know if anybody's commenting, so if you are and I'm not seeing them, I am so sorry. And I just stuck this in my water over here and rinse it out, so. My paper towels that flew over here on the floor. Back. You can see all the yellow and stuff. Just like that, the board is clean. A little wet still, but clean. I hope everybody's having a good night and enjoying their weekend here. Okay, the other day I went through and I cut the transfer like it, you know, so the pieces were all separated, and I wrote on the back. I have not used this one yet, but I wanted to make sure it was all prepped and ready to go, so you guys didn't have to sit and watch me cut transfers and write on the back. Some designers, excuse me, no boys, I've been doing that all day. Some designers will cut through the transfer and the backing. I do not. I cut just the transfer and I leave the backing whole. And I do that simply because that way I can put it back on its backer, back in its little sleeve, and then I can put it in. We have these tote bag things that that's where I've been on. I have some hanging on the wall, depending. So, and then I write on the back where each piece goes, what piece goes there, so I kind of have an idea. We're going to start with his rib cage. And even though this is a Talkator board, I still fuzz just slightly. I don't fuzz as much as I would if it was wood or something else. Just a couple times. Now he's kind of big and my board's not as big, so we're going to have to make sure I got room for his head. Okay, I have to move him down. He may be legless. So I think maybe I'll start with his head instead. See, I fuzzed it and it still wants to stick a little bit harder than. And we will be using bright white because he's a silicone. Some water in this, a little thick. again, I'm going to use my small squeegee. We have small squeegee. We have mini squeegees, which is like half of that one. I have my multi-tool, my angled squeegee, which one of my favorites. I love this one. And I have a 4-inch handled squeegee, which right now I couldn't tell you where it's at. It looks like a regular squeegee like you would on your shower. Oh, these things. Okay. And these big jars, we no longer carry them. You know, everything's now a smaller jar like this. It used to be called our stash jars, and you can only get them as a designer. And they hold 8 ounces, I believe. Yeah. So these are nice. It's just that when you got down to the end and it was hard to get your hand in there, and you get chalk all over, and it was kind of hard. So. And then again, loading up the squeegee, pulling it down through the silk screen, and then lifting up the excess and putting it back in the jar. And also, you don't, when you're doing this, sometimes there's lines in there. If you leave the lines inside the silk screen, when it dries, you'll be able to see that on your finished product. So you just want to kind of make sure you don't have a distinctive line through your silk screen. Pulling up, we pull side to side or up and down, never corner to corner, because then you'll stretch again the silk screen area. And pull straight up, never straight across like that. When you pull up, it keeps it from, if I was to pull, it would have curled all into itself and stayed like that. So it just prevents that curling from happening. I'm going to dry this a little bit before I try to put anything else on it, otherwise I will mess it up like I do. Always do, this is just a blow dryer, on low, on cool heat, cool air. And if you use warm heat, like some people I know use like a heat gun that for like embossing, be very careful with that because it heats up the board. And if you put your transfer back on that before it cools off, it can melt the transfer. Also, if a lot of times when you do that peel and air and then put it back down and finish the project, if you get the heat gun too close to your transfer is, it's fabric and it's a plasticky material and it will melt. So just be very careful. That's why I use cool air. Okay, let's do his ribs. Gotta have ribs. Wee bit too much on there. Again, if you get too much, it's not a big deal. You can just scoop it back up and put it back in the jar. Making sure there's no lines through my design. Lifting straight down or straight across. If I can get this to come up. And then if it doesn't want to come, just kind of wiggle it a little bit. It will come up. Just don't try to pull too hard. Dry it a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna all fit on here, so he's not gonna have a pelvis, he's gonna have arms and a rib cage. My board's way too small. Darn it. Oh well. It is what it is. Oh, I better fuzz. Fuzz, fuzz, fuzz. Switch to a smaller squeegee. There we go. Sometimes you have to make sure you're using the right size squeegee for the right length of transfer here. Now I'm immediately going to have to go over here to put this over here. I got to use this for this. Alright. Okay, let's blow dry this. Okay, well. So we're gonna make him have short arms. Short arms. So I'm gonna wipe this one down. Okay. So he's gonna have two short bones. Dry it out a little, make sure there's no water in the silk screen. Okay, well this really isn't working out the way I wanted it to, but you get the idea. again, I can't see any comments. I don't know if anybody said anything, so if I'm not answering, I'm so sorry. I will get back to you as soon as it's over and I can read the comments. Yeah. We're just going to leave him like that, and we're going to put... So if anybody has any questions, just let me know. All of my information is in the title above. All these transfers and board and chalk, everything is on my website. I'm gonna have to leave that. Okay, put that one in the water. Oops. It's like I had one of my hairs underneath there. You know, that's free with every project. You get a free Vicky hair. Yep. Okay. Blow dry this. Okay, though he wasn't full on skeleton, you got to see how he might look. He's the top half. You got to see how easy it was to remove a project that was already on there and put another project on. So I hope you enjoyed this, even though it was kind of a hot mess at times. Again, I could not see any, there were no comments. I don't know if any of you just didn't comment, and that's fine. I don't, you know, nobody has to comment. But, thank you for joining my live. Thank you for being a part of this wonderful group. I will see you probably in 2 weeks. Next Friday, I have to get to bed early because we are leaving for Ohio. We're leaving for Ohio Saturday morning. Our plane leaves at 5 a.m. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be up at 8 o'clock to do this. If I can get on earlier, I might, but we'll see how that goes. Thanks again. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment below. I will be more than happy to come back and answer the questions for you. I get notification when somebody says something on here, so I can answer. On my business page, which is Color Your World, starting October 1st through October 30th, I will be doing 30 days of live. I will be doing a live every day in the month of October for 30 days. They might not always be talking or inking project. A lot of them might be a little bit of information about, like the Club Couture. Might hop on and give you a little insight of the Couture Club, or being a designer, what that would entail, or our products, what they do and how they work. And so not every live will probably be project. Majority of them will be, not all of them. So, again, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great night. Be kind to one another.